What's up, guys? And today I'm going to show you guys a little bit about what you guys would need for a Rust gaming PC. This is going to be a lower end build. I'm going to make it as cheap as I possibly can, with keeping in mind that I'm trying to get you at least 40 FPS in most servers, etc. on decent settings. So this is going to be my best guess. I can't actually go through and test every single one of these, obviously, for reasons. I could go and look up benchmarks and stuff like that, but a lot of people, when they benchmark, Rust isn't something they test very often, so it'd be inconsistent, and there'd be a lot of conversion rates that wouldn't actually make sense. Like I'd have to compare uh like a Metro Last Light 2 or to some like Rust, in which you can't really do that because they're not the same type. They're similar games, but one has a set direction. You know what? I'm just gonna basically show you what my PC is. Alright, as you can see right now, that this is actually my current setup. The motherboard isn't exact, but it did cost around $80 for my motherboard, so that's basically how I'm doing it. It's actually $89.99. But regardless, this is going to be my actual setup, not counting rebates. You got to add on $30. My computer is currently $992.57. As you can see, that this is not a cheap computer, and everybody's wondering how I get such good FPS. But keep in mind, I have an AMD FX 8350, and this is an 8-core processor. Why do I have an 8-core processor in the first place? It's because I do video editing, video recording, and such. It doesn't actually help with recording, but it does help a ton with editing and rendering video. Well, actually, not. It doesn't help with editing. It helps with rendering the video. That's pretty much it. The extra 4 cores, because you only use 4 cores when you're in a game. That's just how it always is. So now we're gonna show you guys exactly what I would recommend for, let's say, a mid grade build for Rust. I'm not going to include any operating systems. That's all up to you. I'm assuming whatever computer you have now, you have an operating system, you have a Windows key, and you have also a um, Windows disk. And if you don't, you can just go buy one. I don't know. Actually, I think you can just download onto USB before you actually make your new computer, and then just plug it into a certain USB port, and then you can, it'll automatically start downloading whatever's in there. So for the CPU, I'm gonna show you guys exactly what you're gonna need. I would not go with AMD because they tend to not have the best. I don't. AMD doesn't have long-term proficiency, I guess you could say. But what you're gonna want to go for is an i5. Go Intel and slowly build your way up. If you're looking for uh, a system right now that's just gonna run Rust, you're never gonna do anything else. You're just gonna play Rust, maybe a few other games, and you're looking to strictly game. You're not looking to have the best FPS. You're looking for bang for buck. You're gonna want to go with, like I have, the AMD FX 8350. It's dropped a lot since it actually originally came out. I got it originally for 200 and no, just straight up. I think it was like 200, yeah, $230. So it's dropped quite a bit. It's almost dropped $100 off of it. So yeah. So now we're gonna go into the other things. You do not need an i7, but I don't think an i3 can handle it. Rust is a very CPU and GPU intensive game. I would say more along the lines of CPU. I'm not 100% sure of the graphics. Obviously, the two things you're going to spend the most money on are your graphics card and your GPU. So, what we're going to be going for is an i5. You don't need Skylake. You can honestly almost run Sandy Bridge i5's 2500K, and it should be fine. So it's not a big deal, but what we're going to be going for is the cheapest i5 that has high gigahertz. So i5, and then we'll go for price. Okay, i5 750, that's going to be a no. i5 340S, no. And then you're going to look at the gigahertz, and this is per core performance. So, well, I mean, it's general gigahertz. So what I'm going to go for is probably one sticking around the i5 440. 4440. And why am I doing this? Because you don't need the K unless you're overclocking, in which case you can go for a K, which costs more money because they have the overclocking ability. These are locked. You cannot overclock them no matter what you do. So actually, this one, 3.2. I mean, this one, for some reason, this one's higher priced. It's probably better in some way, probably because of the TDP, or in other words, the amount of power it uses. So we're still going to go for the 3.2 gigahertz, but regardless, because we have a decent power supply that I have in mind, okay? And then we're going to choose a CPU cooler. You don't actually need one, so we're just going to back right out of that. If you're just playing games, you're not going to really need some, and you can't overclock, so there's no real point in getting a CPU cooler, because there's no K, so there's no ability to overclock. Choose a motherboard. Honestly, go with whatever makes sense. And this is something that you guys got to keep in mind. By the way, I'm using PC Part Picker to do this. I'm not sponsored or anything weird like that, but click on the i5. I was hoping it'd give me more information. Here it is. Nope. It's not telling me. Okay, LGA 1150. Okay, so then you're gonna go to motherboard, LGA 1150. Am I crazy? There we go. There we go. Okay. Frickin' frack. Okay, there we go. So then we're gonna go for price because we're not going to be doing overclocking, but we don't want to choose anything that's too cheap. I don't really I don't really trust BioStar or ASRock. They're okay companies, but I personally prefer MSI, so I'm gonna go for that one. And once again, it can hold 16 gigabytes of RAM. That's all you're gonna ever need. All right. So then the next thing we're gonna do is choose some memory. We're only gonna need 8 gigabytes for the system. You're not gonna use a ton of memory, especially if you're only running, just one, just Rust. It's not a big deal. You don't need that much memory. We're going to go for some DDR3. We're also going to be going for at least 8 gigabytes. So we're going to go by 2 by 4. Really? It's not going to... Okay, but it says it right here. But... Okay, whatever. So what we're going to go for is a 2 by 4. We're actually going to have to go to the next page. This is poorly designed in my opinion. So we're actually just going to skip this. There we go, 2 by 4. So then that's 8 gigabytes. And where did I see that? Gigabytes, $30. G Skill Sniper, 100%. Perfect. So we're going to get that for $30, and then we're going to go for choose storage. Most people don't need a ton of storage. If you're just going to be playing, like I said, a few games here and there, you can delete old games in Steam and stuff like that. Games do take up a reasonable amount of space on your hard drive, but the OS only takes about I want to say like 13, somewhere in there. But regardless, if you want to go for this, it's going to be just cheap. So 500 gigabytes, get 7,200 RPM. I won't cheap out on that at least. So go for price. How the hell? I don't understand how that's so cheap, but we're gonna, yeah, like I said, we're gonna go for 7,200 RPM. This is ridiculous. Toshiba. Okay, you know what? I don't trust that. I'm sorry. Regardless, at like 54. No, we're going to go for 4250 for a 500 gigabyte hard drive. It's not bad. It's a lot of storage for just like a regular person. If you're planning on doing video editing and video recording and stuff like that, I would recommend having a completely different setup. I would recommend more storage, better. I would save up more basically. The i5's not bad and it'll run the game pretty well, so it's not there's nothing crazy about this. There's nothing crazy like bad or good about this. It's just a mid-level system. Choose a video card. We're going to be going for a GTX 770. I've heard a lot of good things about these for the price performance. I would honestly wait until the 1080 series comes out because once a new series come out, all the prices of the previous graphics cards drop. So you could be doing that. So the GTX 770, honestly, it doesn't really matter. We're going to go for price. Only one is listed for price. So we're actually going to go with a different one. GTX, what do I have? I have a 9. What's a 960 like? 960s aren't bad, and they're pretty, and I can actually get a price for them. And right here, that seems pretty reasonable. 2 gigabytes, 4. Go for 4. Yeah, yeah, but I don't want to go with Zodac. I don't really like their company either. And this is all based on how I've spent a lot of time researching computers and a lot of time figuring out computers. Like I've built 2 or 3 of them, maybe even 4. Actually 5 now. Never mind. I've built 5 computers before. And yeah, I have my own. I've taken some apart, put them together, looked up like reviews and stuff. I used to be really into computers. This is why I'm even feel like I'm comfortable recommending this stuff. So let's once again LGA 55, and we made sure that those two matched. And once again, you may be wondering why aren't you getting like a full? Why aren't you getting like mid ATX tower cases? Why are you getting a micro one? They're cheap. You're not going to need more than 16 gigabytes of RAM, and we're only using 8 to begin with. And they're cheaper, and you don't really need a crazy one, especially when you're not overclocking. So then we're gonna go for the case. This is up to you for personal preference. It really doesn't matter. Like you can get a RAID Max like it doesn't matter. Like micro ATX will fit in a regular mid tower PC, so it's not a big deal. And then what you're gonna go for this is like a 550 watt should be fine, and you just gotta make sure that 80 front. Okay, whoa, chill. Chill. See, a big thing you need to notice is the 80 plus bronze efficiency. You need to have on every single one that you pick. No matter what, you should always pick an 80 plus bronze, at least an 80 plus bronze power supply. So we're gonna go 44.99. And then, like I said, optical drive. You just if you're installing Windows on this, which is all you're gonna need to, you can honestly take this out of your old computer, the old optical drive, and it's not a big deal. And then yeah, software modules. You don't really need anything else. So we come to a grand total of 560 and 20 cents. I would wait to buy the GTX 960. I would wait for the 1080 series to come out, wait a few weeks, see if the price drops all, or even wait a month, and then get this system. This system will run. If I were to guess, like guys, I can't give you 100% like 100% like this is the best system ever, but like guys, I'm giving you something that I would recommend and that you'll get decent frames in Rust. You're not going to be getting crazy frames, you're not going to be getting 100 frames here and there. I'm getting like 80 or just like 60 to 80 usually, unless I need to restart. If I've had like a bunch of programs running, I'm rendering a video and stuff like that, then your system slowly bogs down, then you have to restart. But regardless, this is what I would recommend. I think you can get decent frames with this. It's pretty like just, it's a regular mid-range system. You saw my system. This one's about $400 cheaper. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys have any questions about if you can change this or that, then let me know, and I'll hook you up and stuff like that. I'll reply to you in the message in the comments. So yeah, sorry that my voice has been like all over the place and stuff like that, and I haven't been really concise. I'm trying my best. Yeah, it's pretty late. Peace. Peace. Holy shit.
We get shit out.